Football season is here, and this year fans are paying top dollar for a party in the parking lot. Costs for tailgating essentials have gone through the roof, and so has the price of simply getting to the game itself. Danya Bacchus caught up with the devoted fans in Los Angeles and has details.
Whose house? Whose house?
Freddie Giannis has been tailgating at Rams games since the team's triumphant return to Los Angeles in 2016. His booster club brings the potluck to the parking lot.
Potato salad, salads, carne asada, hot links, hamburgers, tacos, name it, ribs, whatever it is, we bring.
But this year, inflation is intercepting his wallet.
Say if I was spending $60, now it's like 120, pretty much.
A recent report from Wells Fargo found tailgating costs are up, from beer to brats, even propane to fire up the grill.
Certain proteins like chicken and beef up pretty substantially, snack-like items, buns, pickles, all kinds of stuff like that you need for game day.
Getting there costs more too. Gas is about 50 cents more a gallon compared to last year. And flights up a whopping 34%.
Rising prices don't necessarily have to sack all the fun. There are ways to save on game day.
Take the subway, take the bus if you can, rather than driving or flying.
Take a look at your food spread and try substituting less expensive items, like pork ribs, up only 2.3%, or fresh vegetables, up 7.6%. And of course, you can always armchair quarterback.
TV prices are actually down relative to a year ago.
Giannis and his club all pitch in.
We waited years for the Rams to come back home, and every cent is well worth it.
And they have enough passion to go around. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Of course, experts say the most expensive thing at the game is still probably the tickets themselves. FedEx unveiled plans to raise shipping rates starting in early January, trying to counteract a recent dip in demand. In its earnings release, the company says it will raise prices for most of its services by about 7%. It also says it hopes to save over $1 billion by reducing flights. While unemployment remains near a 50-year low, some Americans may have a little more trouble finding work in the near future. According to the economic projections released by the Federal Reserve Wednesday, unemployment is expected to rise from the 3.7% that is in August to 4.4% sometime next year. Some analysts say it could even go up to 5%. That could mean between 1 and 2 million Americans will be laid off in that time. More information, including monthly job gains, are due out in early October. This week is Asthma Peak Week. Up next, what that means and what you can do to avoid triggers and stay healthy.